All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Serious Angler podcast, powered by our friends over at X2 Power Batteries. And it is back. Fantasy Fishing. We are back with the good old crew with one new addition. Who looks like he's trying to rob me right now. He had his face mask on. We'll do some quick group introductions here. We got quite the dynamic going on with the 5-square screen here. Justin and I, we got Mr. Justin Largen, host of Kayak Fishing Weekly, next to me. We got top left corner, Mr. Adam Deakin from Business from the Bass Boat. Top right, we got Mr. Andy Full, the captain from Serious Angler. And you guys know these fellas if you tuned into Fantasy Fishing last year. We got the bottom right from Blue Molds, Mr. Brennan Chapman. And that's it. That's all we got. JK,
that's
JK. We got Mr. Alpha Angler Rods himself, Mr. Jake Boomer. We got the squad back together. What's going on, boys?
Howdy.
Excited to be here.
Good. Quick before we get this show rolling and preview, and it's obviously first show of the year. I think we're all excited to get back because these ones I think we enjoy the living heck out of. But obviously it's cool that we got Justin joining the group. We've added one this year, and we're actually in it real fast. We're in an interesting setting right now. Justin and I are actually out in like 40-degree weather doing this outside.
Yeah, but you got a heater. Everyone can see that
a heater
blowing.
They weren't supposed to know that. It's showing our dedication to doing this thing. All right.
My face is still cold.
We basically the place we're staying at, the Wi-Fi for whatever reason is bad inside, but it's good outside. So we kind of got this cool backdrop. Murray is literally we're on Lake Murray, and it's literally 20 feet behind the camera. I couldn't post it up where the lake was in the backdrop, but nonetheless, we're making it work. It's all dedication for the show. But new season of the Elites is back, boys. Any I guess Deakin will go around the horn here quick before we start getting into everything. Takes on the schedule and any first thoughts going into event numero uno?
Schedule wise, I think it's fairly typical to me from an Elite Series schedule standpoint. Didn't seem like there was, the Opens was the big change up, right, with Bass as far as going to the Midwest, which I thought was really neat. But no, man, nothing too crazy. I think something that I'm intrigued to see, I guess, for this season is that not just Bassmaster, but I think there's been a lot of imagery and all this stuff with crazy technology going on these boats right now. And the Elite Series said, okay, open doors, you can throw whatever you want on these boats. So we're seeing 5 live scope transducers, all kinds of crazy graphs, all this stuff. I am interested to see who has potential breakdowns on the water with all this draw and all this crazy stuff that's maybe not going to get worked out with things. But anyways, I'm curious to see this technology that some of these guys are running, and maybe it's not really going to be showcased in the fishing as much as in practice and throwing live scope transducers to each side. But it's going to be an interesting year, I think, from that perspective. I feel like there's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses in the off season for technology this year.
See, if Bass Live wants to make some really good TV, they'll just throw an EMP out in the lake so guys can't use any electronics anymore.
Yep.
Blockers are coming, man. I'm telling you.
Rick Clunn just wins out of nowhere.
Yeah. Rick Clunn becomes his trolling motor. Well, let's keep going around the horn here and catch up with Mr. Boomer. What you've been up to through the off season, and what's your kind of preconceived notions going into 2024? Can't hear you.
Classic way to start it off, Boomer.
That is the
I
most
can't have old people on this show.
You muted the thing to happen.
First show, and he's back.
Yes.
New kid.
Yeah.
Somebody threw an ESP into my internet.
It was me.
hacked.
I'm seriously caught up in doing research because I feel like I've got preconceived notions, and I don't think that'll be good this year. I think it's going to change a lot. I think there's a pretty tough rookie group. I think they're refined and tough rookie group. I don't know what the take is with all the extra stuff, but I feel like there will be more drama this year. That's my take on the coverage. I feel like they're going to try to defend the the open, the sonar stuff, and all the arguments, and the fact that their publications aren't very good, or people are going to say it's boring to watch, so they're going to add drama to make it fun to watch. That's what I think is going to happen.
They're just gonna pay.
Hopefully, they get in a little bit more.
They'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna pay Lee Livesey $1,000 to just go up and just punch somebody in the face or in the water."
Lock wars.
I think that
fighting the lock first.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need a good old fashioned. What is that? Kissimmee Lake chain lock.
Yeah.
That was that lock. I've been in that lock before. The brawl. Anyways, but yeah, I actually don't know what to think about this season. This is the first year that they had really like a 9 events to get in. They really cut down who's allowed in. They let in Lee back. I think it's going to be a pretty tough crowd. And I think they're all fighting for what I think is a dwindling sponsorship pool. So they're going to be working hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a tough one. So anyways.
I mean, with that said, it might be exciting then because you see guys kind of.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Before we get to Brennan, we have quite the comment. It took 5 minutes to get Sarah Deakin mentioned in the comments. We have Brad here. It's actually a really good idea. I don't know if Deakin will like it, but it said there needs to be a Sheekin or Sarah Deakin trophy for whoever comes in last in fantasy.
Yes.
That is incredible.
I think it's great because I have not ever come in last in fantasy. So
don't.
We've had
I would.
Ever coming last. Ooh. So is this like a participation award? Is that what it is?
Yeah. No, Deacon's the guy that says he gets the top 5 in tournaments, but there's only 5 boats on a Tuesday nighter.
the best thing ever, you say. Another top 10 in our 8 tournament field.
I had a buddy once in an ABA. We got a phone call on the way home, and the guy's like, "How many boats was there?" And he said, "Almost 9."
Almost 9.
Just say 8. Just say 8.
That's awesome.
Almost 9.
Nice.
Bobby backed out last minute. It's only 8 of us.
I don't know about you guys. Maybe it'll take more brainstorming after the show or think about it, but I think that's honestly hilarious. I don't know if you guys watch the Kelsey podcast, but they just made a trophy that they give out now. It's called the Golden Baby. And it's actually like just a legitimate baby made of gold, and they're handing it out to people. I think just something like total, like off the cuff that we can find would be absolutely hilarious as the Sheekin trophy for whoever comes in last.
That would be good.
Yeah. All right, we'll do some brainstorming around that. But Brennan, what's been going on with you, man? Any thoughts for this season?
Yeah, this season, just as far as bass goes, like just starting off anywhere other than Florida, I guess, is kind of a breath of fresh air to me as a fan. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that kind of lends itself to the season, and then ultimately AOY, because that's going to be a huge shakeup. I think personally for AOY, just not starting in Florida and going to Florida, after that initial pre-spawn window, at least. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So we'll see.
It shall be interesting.
Yeah, and starting off at like big fish factories like this, like right off the bat. Not that like St. John's and some of these Florida fisheries in the past hadn't been big fish places, but we're going to Texas. That's cool. I'm jacked.
Yeah.
Andy?
I'd say it's kind of exciting that the first 6 derbies all have the potential to see giants be caught. And I was getting bored of watching them go to Florida every year at the start of the year. So Brennan stole my thunder on that one. But
my bad, buddy.
No, you're good. Toledo Bend will be interesting. I'm really excited to actually tune in this week. And I'm hoping to see different fishing styles than the one we all are accustomed to seeing the last couple of years. And this might be an event that actually happens. So it'll be cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Florida, obviously, when they're probably getting close to post-spawn, is going to be way different for the average viewer who tunes in. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, especially with the one. Obviously, there's the electronics rave going on, but also I feel like big baits, glide baits have been becoming more and more popular every year, especially, looking at who's joining the elites this year. That's, been blowing up on YouTube with throwing big baits for giant bass in Texas on forward. I'll be interested to see if there's any of that going on this week. I think that would be sick just to see some giant baits between Milliken, Zaldane, a few of those guys that have been trying to learn them anyway. That would be really intriguing. But first year doing fantasy fishing, Justin, what do you think?
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what to expect. I'm going to try not to win the trophy,
The
whatever
Sheekin.
we're calling it. Yeah.
Sheekin.
That's my goal. It's very, very lofty goal. Just don't be dead last.
Don't be the Sheekin. That's what we're calling it.
It
Did I
sounds
did I win the Sheekin last year?
You might have. I think so. You're
feel like I
the
won't
you're the
be.
current Sheekin.
Okay, moving on.
Well, we
It's-
have a bunch
it's-
of people in the comments right now, so appreciate that. A lot of people that are in the comments every single episode, but especially that thoroughly enjoyed fantasy fishing last year. Before we get into this event specifically, question here from Brad that said, any way too early AOY picks? How we're going to lay this all out for you guys, we're going to run through really fast, is for every year, the Monday leading up or the Monday of the week of the event, we're going to go live 8 p.m. So you guys can expect us every single Monday at 8 p.m. to have these shows the week of events. We're going to go through our fantasy fishing picks, drain the lake, as well as in this episode specifically, we're going to give who our predictions are for Angler of the Year and Rookie of the Year by the end of the season. So we're calling them out now to see if any of us are right by the end of the year. So it's gonna tonight's show is gonna be a lot of fun, but the rest of the year you can expect that going forward on Mondays. And we'll incorporate some cool stuff. There's some new stuff we're adding to this going forward for these lakes too that you guys will see later in the episode. But guys, any feel free to talk freely here, but Toledo Bend, what do you guys think might be at play? What do you think is going to be the dominant pattern or winning pattern?
Well,
Jerk baits and trees offshore.
Jeez.
yeah, it's probably gonna be jerk baits and trees. You're gonna see glide baits. You might 8 to 12 foot range. I don't know if there's any grass or not, but the fish could be starting to get in grass. Shallow cypress trees could play. Like, I think you're gonna see a little bit of everything.
Do you think
No,
it's the warm up though that they needed? Do you think to get them up, to get them thinking about it, or do you think it's warm enough yet?
Well, I'm glad you say that. Let me actually pull this up
Mhm.
here for you.
That's kind of my fear, is that Andy's right, is that like it's actually going to be warm enough that they're far enough along that like we're not considering maybe some of us at least, and we'll get to this, aren't considering like a Brian Schmidt, like a grass expert, you know what I mean? A Greg Hackney, that it is far enough along. Maybe I'm alluding to too much already, but
So those bright yellows and those creek arms, that's like low to mid 60-degree temps on Omnia Premium Pro. So
we're showing you guys. We talked about it a bunch on this podcast, but this is Premium Pro from Omnia. So you're gonna see this is the water temperature of the lake right now. So you're seeing this is probably around the high 40s. Andy, I believe you looked at this before the show. I want to
it's like low 50s, low to mid 50s.
low to mid 50s.
Yeah.
And then back here was high 50s.
So yeah, so like where it starts turning yellow, where like in some of these creek arms where it gets that real bright, almost white, that's like mid 60s.
Mhm.
Well, one thing to note is the temperatures on that map could be off a little bit too. But I think one thing, to your point though, I mean, looking at these when they're getting in that yellow to orangish, you can see some of these creeks are turning into an orangish color in the back. That, to Brennan's point, that could make things get a little freaky.
that's looking a little Hackney-ish to me.
I mean, like let's think back. I don't know if you guys tuned in at all to the Sam Rayburn Invitational event, but most of those guys were out scoping, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was 2 guys in the top 10 that caught him on a trap and a chatterbait in the grass shallow, right? One of them was Nick LeBrun. He's just a hammer at doing that. And so I'm not going to like that is, in my opinion, that is going to happen in this event. But in my experience in Texas, both on Toledo and Rayburn, I fished a couple of times through college. And then not only like what we've seen in the Elite Series these last couple of years, right? It's like there's always a big group of females, like a freak group of females that is together. It's in that, the free males out there. We're talking the like,
yeah, buddy,
30-pound bag
full on free
spawn females that are out there still, in my opinion, on some piece of cover or something. And then that's like where those mega bags get cracked. So to me, like, I think that stuff will all play up shallow. I just don't see the winner being up on the bank, but I could see someone top 10 and doing it.
Yeah.
What was the year? What time of year was it when Huff won back to back? Was that April? It was early, but
that was early.
That was a Toyota event, correct?
Toyota and a college event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that was early because he was like deep throwing a spoon.
That was like when it all started. I was in college, I think, when that happened. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pulling
it was February, though, wasn't it? It was
February 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
I think one thing to note, too, is the way that map laid out is, the backs in the creeks, and especially the northern end, is getting warmer. But that main lake is still going to stay relatively colder, obviously. So they're not all going to rush up into the creeks or up to get shallow. There's still going to be, I think, guys out there. I think the new term now is pinging a minnow. Yeah. I think you're definitely going to see that still this week because there's going to be some late waves that are still out there, either chasing bait, sitting in saddles and pinch points.
Yep.
So if we were to break it down right now, like if we were to guess as a group, what percentage of fish want to be up shallow, like under 5 foot? What is it right now? If we were to guess as a group,
what kind of fish are we talking? 5?
Like top 10 fish, enough top 10 fish, right? For like one guy.
20%.
I think there's gonna be a ton of bucks up there. I think you're gonna go and
I agree. So we think as a group that it's going to be one offshore, like top 10 for sure. Most top 10s are going to come from offshore.
Yeah, I think maybe
8 out of 10.
Yeah,
8 out of 10.
We'll take Sam Rayburn. Yeah, like 8 out of 10. I'd say 2 out of 10 could make the top 10 fishing shallow, and they have to get lucky and get a couple big bites every day.
Which there's going to be some random big ones that roll up there, but
yeah.
So here's the weather forecast. All week it's been 70s with the 50s overnight, some high 50s, which definitely bodes well for fish that are trying to get up and do the nasty. We got Thursday 78, but you got some heavy southwest wind. 71, 73, 77 with the rest of the weekend not being too bad wind-wise. So it could be.
I think the water's up temperature. I think like there's a lot of structure in the lake right now too. So some of that mid shallow stuff could play really, really well. I mean, and I think people are going to be able to move freely, right? Better in the timber on that place than they have been. So
it's a high pool right now, right? Like I feel like I've heard that. I feel like I saw a comment earlier, like high pool.
Yeah,
it's up.
Oh, that is the best term. Let's go, Clint. That is oh man.
So instead of pinging a minnow, Clint Bartlett here said, "Excuse me, the term is cricket tickling."
I love it. Tickling.
Let's do it. Let's get it trending.
I don't care what it is. Hover strolling is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Like if somebody said I was out hover strolling, I'd just leave the conversation. I'm like, whatever. I'm talking to bass fishermen here, and I'd just leave and go find somebody else. You know what I mean? Like hover strolling, really. Cricket tickling or whatever is way better.
I love that.
It's hard to say that you were being a cool guy. Yeah, like I got like 250 horse, 21-foot bass boat going 72 miles an hour and 3 inches of water. I'm a stud. But then when I was done, I went hover strolling. Like really?
That's right.
And I played with Barbies. You know what I mean? Like, no.
I was like, there's got to be like a moped reference coming here.
There's got to be, yeah. You guys have to agree with me. Whoever comes up with that kind of stuff, like somebody a couple years came up with drop swimming for throwing a drop shot out, drop swimming, and I couldn't even listen to him. I'm like, who comes up with this stuff? You know, like, anyways.
Some turd.
It's
probably Andy.
Yeah.
It's probably Andy.
It's a very chic and move of you.
Catches fish.
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. I apologize. That was God. That bothers me.
Rants are welcome.
Boomer's
here
gonna
for
boomer.
I've been cooped up in the Northwest. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
Amen, buddy.
I feel
hear
you, Boomer. I feel you.
Yep. We're all Northerners, right?
Yeah. Besides
We don't
Justin.
get it.
Yeah, Justin's
I mean,
most southern-ish. He's Virginia.
He's like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're Southern, buddy. You don't get it.
oh, you're Southern, he said.
Yep, you're Southern.
You tell him he does.
He's like on the fringe.
He's got
land, right? He's Southern.
Yep.
Hey,
He's
this
got
man
a
is
snow
bundled
park
up
on.
in his blackfish gear. Okay, doing this podcast outside. Okay,
Is he
He's got that-
shivering?
I'm cold.
He's cold. It's because he's from Virginia. He's not from the north.
Boo.
Deacon's got Bailey's got a trucker hat on and his coat unzipped. And you got a stocking cap on. We could tell who's from the north.
Right. Yeah, you had a mask on when we started, Justin.
I still got it.
There you go.
Bro, I'm wearing wool right now. No joke.
No joke.
Good.
All right. Anything else before we dive into our picks? I'm trying to think if we're missing anything. I'm trying to knock the rust off these fantasy fishing shows. I think that's it, right?
What
We didn't
will
do-
be the craziest, I guess, like the most replayed fish catch of
Buzzbait.
the event?
frog? Damn.
You said frog? Hey, John, dude,
anything,
John talks.
anything on the
Let's-
He
break.
topped 10
Like, yeah,
on,
low
on
60s.
Rayburn one time, catching him on a frog like in February.
Low 60s. Like if you get low 60s in the back of those creek arms, you could see poppers, you could see buzz baits going down. Like
Get out of here with your poppers, Andy. Nobody wants your
I'm
poppers.
just saying.
Get out
There's
of
a
here.
guy in Group A that has caught big ones on poppers in the pre-spawn. So
Dude, Cal Lane was throwing a buzz bait on Rayburn like
Yeah,
a week.
That's what I want to see.
2
You're
weeks
skipping it like in bushes.
yeah.
I'm
Fun.
all for that. Give me some live action with some buzz
What about
baits.
boat flipping a 9.5 pounder in on a hinkle shad?
See, that's where I think the replay.
You
is
know what
gonna
I'm
be.
saying?
Some big
Or
thing.
interchange that with a 110 junior, +1 extra deep, or a 2.8-inch Kitech. It could be any of those. I feel like it could be a flipping beaver too. Like honestly, dude.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about this event.
I feel like Toledo Bend is one of those places that you're going to see a replay with a treble hook in somebody's hand and getting it out too, because that's happened a few times there. So
Dude, yeah.
I think it's happening a lot of
Cranking
places.
is for sure going to play, I think, this week. I think you're going to see some.
Yeah,
big
you're
plays.
probably right, man.
Here's a better question. Do you guys think that the product will change, the coverage? Do you think there'll be some?
I've heard there's some good, like from a reliable source within Bass, that there's something coming.
Yeah.
I don't know
Something
what.
Just
Boomer, you
Like
should
to
have turned
showcase
into-
forward-facing sonar.
what's that?
To showcase forward-facing sonar.
No, I think just to give a little bit different. I don't know. There's so many complaints about, it's hard to watch, whatever. The MLF, the first event on MLF got a lot of negative press because they were all scoping. A lot of them were. But
Look,
I just think
we'll
that
have to-
Bass will step it up.
I think
I don't know
so.
how.
I think the fact
Yeah.
that they toned down their coverage was also a problem. Like that they didn't cover the first 2 days. I think a lot of people were upset about that. They wanted to tune in and see, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. We did a show on Business from the Bass Boat 2 weeks ago. Bailey, Andy, and I talked about this exact thing, Boomer. And I agree. I think it's in a lot of senses, it's hard to watch some of that stuff just because you can't see the decision making that's going on. That's why I watch it, is more on the education side. So I think stuff's going to change for the better. And I think Bass has always done a good job of being on the kind of the front side of trying to do some of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to see what the coverage looks like in this event, because it wouldn't have mattered, in my opinion, if this was before live fishing, like 5, 6, 7, or whenever we started live fishing years ago. Like when the show was broken into an hour or 2 hour episode, like you can get that excitement and that content around those big fish catches. It wouldn't have mattered if they were out there scoping to some extent, in my opinion. But now that we sit there and watch it all day, it gets hard, mundane, watching somebody do the same thing, and you can't really see the background change and all that,
Right.
There was
Well-
one comment. Let me give you guys this last piece. There was one comment made. I won't mention any names, but each league has made an agreement with a particular brand of forward imaging. And so I'll be interested to see if they kind of break that who pays the most, and you see, because a lot of people do like to watch forward imaging if they can actually see the screen and see what the guy's doing, but you'll see it's generally brand specific. I'm interested to see if maybe Bass just said, I don't want to sign any of those, agreements that don't allow me to show all 3 brands. So
something more closer along the lines of like an NPFL product.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they allow all 3, don't they?
Yeah.
But last year it was
believe.
Lowrance for MLF, and I think it was Humminbird for Bass.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
were.
lot of
I don't believe
cross-pollination.
NPFL last year was exclusive to any brand for their
Right.
imaging for forward-facing sonar.
And then Clint came in here and said that the Opens, they were already showing Garmin on FS1 for the Open. So Bass will be probably having at least Humminbird and Garmin.
Oh, yeah.
I think if they were smart, they wouldn't have stick to one technology that they'll show and won't show the others. I think
it's going to be open. Yeah.
For the sake of the viewer and as well as their product that they're making, I feel like they'll be smarter to stay universal in that we're going to show all of it. And I feel like the brands wouldn't argue either. I feel like unless you're Garmin, obviously just because you're the monster when it comes to the forward-facing tech. But I feel like even the brands could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't follow along as the viewer and like appreciate the full thing for those guys that aren't what were Humminbird last year, right? Like you couldn't understand what was going on under the water for them.
I just saw that.
That would be something.
How much do you pay him, Tom? What are you going to pay him in?
What would you
Bitcoin. We'll pay him in Bitcoin.
It reminds me of just like the cliche old guy yelling at a kid, "Get off my lawn!" Like that's kind of what it would sound like.
Get off the grass.
Invite from one of his videos, and then play that. Like somebody catches a fish off live scope, and they hit the button.
Yeah, like a soundboard. Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Oh man.
Well, let me ask you guys this before we start talking about our picks here: is if you had to bet 2 to 3 guys you think will be on live the very first day of the season, what names would you think?
Ben Milliken for sure, number 1.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're probably going to get like
Jordan Lee.
Yeah, Jordan.
Maybe like John Garrett, another rookie in there. You're gonna have another high character guy.
Keith
probably
Combs?
Matt Robertson, I could see.
Matt
Keith Combs for sure, local guy.
Wendell, maybe. Like
reserve 2 or 3 for whoever's catching him good in practice, and they get that hinkling from.
Yeah.
So kick 2 or 3 out just for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Patty Walters is probably another high choice.
Yeah, for sure.
I think without a doubt, I would bet a high dollar of money that.
Oh, and Welcher because he was AOY.
For sure. Welcher for sure.
Good
job.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. It'll be interesting though. Those are always kind of fun to you can notice the pattern of who's going to end up on live next.
Do we have prop bets now? Is that what we're doing?
Dude, I wish there was sports betting and fishing.
I had a conversation. Yeah, I had a conversation with a friend. An hour before the show, we talked about that. Like, we got to come up with a way to make this model work for prop bets because there's way too many of us degenerates watching bass fishing that would just take off with this stuff.
And you nailed it with degenerates because, what a worse sport to bet on than fishing.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Every angler, the odds is minus 500 at a minimum. No, it'd be plus 500. Sorry,
for sure.
Dude, for the opens, you know how funny it would be though to just have the wild card of Pete Glusick falling in for every open he's fishing. You could have so much
bet on mechanical breakdown
ratio.
Yeah. How many times Matt Robertson fishes in his underpants? You could have so many.
Probably never again.
I don't know if you guys listen to Mercer's podcast. It's really, really good. And especially the episode with Matty Robertson where they're talking about how he got fined for fishing in his underwear on Oahe. And then now the underwear is the sponsor of the classic. And they're so he's holler at your boy. There's no way that the Andersons didn't pitch this to Jockey or whatever and didn't show them Matt Robertson fishing in his underwear.
Oh my gosh.
So
dude,
maybe
if you got
now
a deal from Jockey freaking underwear, like that would be the most iconic deal in bass fishing history,
Dude.
would it not?
Underwear jersey, man. He just pulls up to Wayne the Classic and it's just jockey underwear
Yep.
with Onum on the
Fur
butt
coat and
cheeks.
just jockey whitey tighty.
Yeah, with Onum on the butt cheeks.
Yeah.
You're golden.
Yep.
Hey, has anyone, Bass Fanatic here says the MLF team series is way more entertaining in my opinion. Has anyone watched any of that? I haven't seen any of it.
I don't know where you can watch it. I mean, it'd be
Is it
cool
like
to
on
watch. I just don't know where.
TV, probably.
Probably
I watched-
outdoor TV once.
I thought it was
every 4
Discovery or
months.
something like that.
Okay. I mean, I just like to tune in to see what it is about, but I have not seen it at all.
It's cool. I mean, you have it's like 3 guys and they're all like mic'd up so they can hear each other, so they can go break down water together, like talk. But I think it's like only available on Discovery Channel or something like that. Like I wish this is like something that makes for great
Outdoor
on
Network.
YouTube or Outdoor Network. Yeah, so you're
I
really
understand.
limiting yourself to who's going to watch that. I still think total sidebar, but I think MLF dropped the ball big time on not live streaming their cup events, like the ones where they take 20 guys, put them in a location that they don't know where they're at. Those were some of the best TV that I've watched.
I think that was the better model.
I agree.
All right, let's get into our picks for the Bassmaster event on Toledo Bend. Let me share a screen and get my buckets up here. Can you guys see those? All right.
Hey Bailey,
You
don't
betcha.
forget to add your picks in.
Thank you. Thanks, Dad. And for folks who were around last year, Andy says that. I actually do appreciate him saying that because I literally forgot to add my picks last year for the first event.
And I think you should put a penalty on it this year if you do forget to add them. That
Yes.
it doesn't count.
Yes. The guys were gracious enough to let that slide, being that my picks were recorded on the live podcast here. So I wouldn't cheat afterwards if I added them. But it was, yeah. Appreciate it, fellas.
It happens.
All right. So we should kick it off. We're going to go through bucket E to A. I guess it would be more fitting to lead with our winner from last year.
Oh,
Mr.
that's
Jake
cheating.
Boomer. Nah, it ain't cheating. Come on now.
That's cheating.
You're not a rookie anymore. You gotta
Yeah,
Come on,
Yeah.
Boomer. Reveal
The
them
Deacon's
picks.
just gonna copy all my picks.
every time. He
Hey,
says
Show
it
the model,
every time.
baby.
It lasted 32 minutes before he picked on Deacon.
I
Oh, yeah.
no, that's not
We
picking
should
on
have
him.
a
That's
prop bet on how many times Boomer says that I copy his picks because it's going to be 4 an episode. I promise.
Prop bet.
We'll go bottom to top, all right, with the way the videos
All
are
right.
laid out here.
Oh man.
we should do it. What is it? What sport is it when it's like a cornhole? Like if you lose the round, you don't have to start the next round. So like the loser doesn't have to start the next time we do. You know what I mean? So then if you are really stinking at this, you can copy Deacon's picks. You know what I mean?
Don't
Alright,
you dare
yeah.
disrespect
Yeah.
cornhole. Don't you dare disrespect cornhole.
The Iowa man.
I am from Iowa, dude.
That is
No, I wasn't. I was saying I
I'm
like
cool,
the
man.
rules.
All right, all right.
I like the rules. I like it.
Iowa like way of
We're fine.
living.
We're fine. We're fine, Boomer.
Oh,
That's
worried
the
about-
second form of income in Iowa is professional.
Yeah, yeah. It's my
That's your
side
side-
hustle, buddy.
You get 10.99 your cornhole winnings.
100%.
I like
Dude,
it.
have you guys actually watched professional cornhole? Dude,
Yeah,
it's
that'd be
educating as hell.
Yes.
Dude, it's sick. They literally bring in like celebrities and athletes too for like celeb games. They brought in NFL players to play professional cornhole, and it's some of the most amazing content I've ever watched.
Those like
there any
pros, they
sparring
just
allowed?
drain. They drain buckets like every throw. It's insane.
They drain buckets. Yes.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I
God.
know.
It
All right,
should be
before we
called
go
drain
down
buckets
some-
because it's cooler than the NBA.
Facts. Facts. All right. Before we get too sidetracked here with cornhole, Boomer, who do you have for bucket E?
Davis Jr. It's
Ah,
I don't like the pick because it's one of the biggest ones, but I like he's on kind of on a roll. So after the
Alright.
national championship, or he won national championship, I think he's shown himself more versatile, and I just couldn't find anybody else in here except for maybe Sukup that I thought would be. I thought E was tougher than it usually is.
E was tough.
I
We'll
agree.
get to it, but I C was definitely in my mind the toughest one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Brennan, what you got?
You know what? I went Sukup, and my only other pick here, I had two. I had Wesley Gore, and I had Will Davis Jr. And I feel like I had heard through a birdie that Will Davis Jr. was an accident and he shouldn't have been in bucket E. I feel like I heard that through the grapevine.
You mean the comment?
So I didn't take him. I thought about it, and instead I went John Sokup. I could just see this being a shallow water event, and he's also at the same time, like I feel like he's known for being a live scope guru, but he's also a shallow water savant. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you can't go wrong with John Sokup here.
I dig it. All right.
And he's an Okie. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, sorry, Brendan. So that's a good pick. I'm assuming we're going bottom to top. That's why I jumped in. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I went Sukup as well. I thought about going with the hometown kid, Kyle Patrick, but the tournament he had at Toledo last year was a little bit later, and I heard about the pattern he was on. I just don't know if that pattern has started yet for him, so that's why I went John Sukup. I just think he can fish shallow, like Brennan said, and scope them out deep, and a jerkbait is probably going to play pretty big. So
yeah, I can see it. I also like how the comments that I pull up here blocks Boomer's face.
Gone. Delete.
All right, Boomer.
My wife would probably be like, "Yeah, how did you do that? Is there a way you could do that in person?"
Jeez. Oh
My
man.
wife.
All right. Well, being on the train here, I don't have anything to add on top of that because I took John Sukup as well. So there's nothing I can say that hasn't been. Do you have Sukup as well?
I do.
All right.
The only thing I can say is I thought he had a really tough year, like uncharacteristically tough year last year. And I see him bouncing back this year.
Yeah. What does he have? Did he start a new business or he?
Yeah, saving more outdoors, baby.
Yeah. What is? Deacon, we gotta figure out what that is. Get him on a business from the bass boat or something.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. We've had him on a couple of times before all this, so that would be good.
Yeah, it's a cool company. He's got a kind of a tackle reseller, but he's also developing some of his own stuff.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I think his nickname this year should be Man on Fire.
Man on Fire.
He's not Denzel Washington, but he's there. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good movie.
That's a great movie.
Denzel is my favorite actor of all times. But yeah, I think he's going to be mad at him this year. Mad at other people too, but mad, you know.
He might be one of the top people I'd pick for the last person I want to piss off on the Elite Series. He's a giant man.
You see.
Oh, I think there's a couple people on that list for me. One of them would probably be like a Hackney, man. Could you imagine an upset Hackney? Like I would be like, I've just heard some stories of people going into creeks and places that some defensive situations. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. Like I'll stand my ground, but like, that's not going to be fun. I wouldn't be nervous in that situation.
He just gives you the eye. You're like, yep, nope, it's all yours, man.
You got this bank from here to here. Okay. You take it. I'm going to back out.
Just remember, he did shout one time that Godzilla ain't got nothing on me.
Exactly.
So,
best fish catch in history. I'll argue with anybody.
Dude,
yeah,
that is
iconic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that is so iconic.
Is that on this fishery too?
No, it was on Dardanelle, I believe.
Dardanelle, which that was a freak of a fish on Dardanelle.
Yeah.
Like Dardanelle does not have giants like that.
Love it. Deacon, what you got?
Man, I'm not copying any picks here. I've had Sukup in.
Oh my God!
And here's my reasoning. Well,
going in on the train here.
He's gonna get mad. He's mad, right? He had a bad year last year, and then the other thing is I fished against him in a Bass Nation event on Toledo in the fall. I don't know. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago, maybe more than that. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, and he was out scoping 5-pounders in the middle of the lake. Before any of this was popular, and they were like 5 feet below the surface with a jerkbait in the fall. And I just remember being like, what is that guy doing? Like I was like, what is he doing out there? Like now it's like, oh, okay.
It's like, what an idiot. It comes back to win. You're like, oh, I was the idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I'm surprised everyone kind of had that. I figured there would be maybe some other rookies involved in that, category.
I feel like all of us know that John shouldn't have probably had the finish that he had to end the season last year. You know what I mean?
Right.
Agreed.
Like he's a better angler than that for sure. And like the dude's a guru up shallow just as much as he is offshore with live scope. So
yeah,
I don't know. I frankly, I'm a little surprised to see him that low percent owned, but I get it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the comments as well that, you know, we're just getting some other options here. People going with Wesley Gore because he top 10 or it was 11th or something at the Open last year. A lot of people commenting that he's going to do really well. I'd say 1-2 to keep your eye on that was a hammer, had a lot of life negatives happen to him last year. Is KJ Queen. And that kid is a freaking stick, especially when it comes to forward facing too. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back big time this year. Now he's got life back on track. But let's see. Any other things on E? We're good.
Yeah, I got to throw this out there. So overwhelmingly, you guys chose Sukup, right? Yes. We know he's a good angler. We know he had a bad year. Yes. But why do we all feel like we should get on his bandwagon this year? Like, you don't know if anything's changed in his life other than he's got a different sponsor across the board. Don't forget that his social media presence has gone through the roof. So we're associating his newfound he's mad at him from the fact that he's like really gotten on the outspoken social media bandwagon. And you don't have that with a lot of these other guys because we weren't following these guys before. That was the thing that kind of held me up is like, I mean, it's kind of like you're shouting at the top of your lungs. You guys have seen that. Like he's publishing all of his posts, 700,000 impressions, whatever, a month or whatever. But is Wesley Gore the same kind of guy, or is he just grinding on the water? That's the thing that bothers me about how social media has defined our angler base so much. You know what I mean? It's really hard to do research outside of I know that John is fired up. You know, I talk to him all the time. But
see, I makes me wonder because Jake Boomer said he's the man on fire.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Why do we think he's on fire? He had a bad year. He knows he'll.
Yeah, I just know he's better than Bucky.
And he had a good tournament on the MPFL, right? Like
the
first tournament he fished this year. He's got that groove going. So when you're hot, you're hot. You got to roll with it, I guess.
Get hot, stay hot
too.
Like hot.
So how do you find the guy that doesn't say how mad he is on social media that's in this group? You know what I mean? That's what I was like. How would you know if Wesley Gore is he's just not a social guy, but he's living in a van.
Yeah, we don't know anything about him. It's
tough.
Yeah.
You got to just send a DM to everybody on the elites and say, "Are you mad at him?"
Yeah. Just a simple question.
How you find out?
Yeah. I texted Brian Smith earlier and I said, "Hey, go check on Wesley Gore. Is he the real deal? Because I could change my pick, you know." But Brian's sleeping at like an off ramp somewhere. He doesn't even stay in the campgrounds with these guys.
I love it. I just love that. That's my favorite part about it.
It's true story. Like last year at St. Lawrence, he stayed at a rest stop for like the first part of practice.
If you haven't slept in the back of your truck at a boat ramp, do you even tournament fish?
Did he wait to get a hotel or something until they figured out he was on him? Like he knew he was getting a check and he's like, "No, I'm getting a hotel."
No, I think his roommates weren't there yet or something. He's just
fair.
Either
way, the story would have been awesome. But
yeah, he starts his barbecue and throws 2 hot dogs on it when he goes to get the truck to pull the boat out. Then when he pulls the boat out, he eats 2 hot dogs on his way to the rest stop.
Hell yeah!
Like he's pure bass fishing.
That's cool.
Anyways,
love that.
Sorry, yeah.
You're gonna ask something?
Yeah, how do you charge your batteries at the rest stop? I wonder.
You gotta find
a rest trailer.
It's got a little one of the Harbor Freight generators.
Nice.
There you go.
Genius.
Yeah.
All right. Bucket D. Boomer.
And I kind of don't like my picks. I picked Combs. I'm like mailed it in.
Ouch.
Confidence.
I know. I'm out here like talking about how do you really know if a guy's really on fire? And then I took
the guy who's had like the most down seasons out of like anyone's career in the last like 4 or 5 years.
He did good in an ML or a Toyota though last year on Rayburn, didn't he?
I have.
Yeah, I mean, I think Keith
Yeah,
on Rayburn is like a lock for
Just
top
fine.
5.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're just fine. I also picked that same person. So
Timber in the water, Keith Combs with the 6XD.
You're screwed, Boomer. Back pick.
Deakin and Boomer are gonna have the same freaking picks.
You didn't pick Sukup though, right, Boomer?
No.
I didn't know. I took Davis Jr.
Is it
Good
too
pick,
late to
though.
change?
Yeah. Brennan, who you got?
I went Logan Latuso. He's got a third in 2019 in an open here. He's a Louisiana boy, obviously. I don't think it's always a huge advantage, but I always think to a degree it's an advantage going into an event, like having a pretty good vibe for like just what fish overall are doing outside of practice, like understanding the full trend going into it, not just a couple days, right? Like, I feel like that's always kind of an advantage. I also feel like he's highly underrated. Last year was his rookie season. He kind of busted out at Okeechobee, did really well. Maybe he does the same thing here. So I'm going Logan Latuso.
I dig it.
Yeah, bud.
Like it.
Capitan.
All right. Well, I'm going off the beaten track here, and I'm going to go with a guy who also had an uncharacteristically bad year last year. I'm going with David Mullins. Like, had a really rough season last year, and good cranker. I think it sets up well for him. He's probably going to throw crankbait the entire tournament, I'm assuming, and he's probably going to catch him decently, and I'm hoping for a good finish from him.
We got a comment from Jig Squad saying I'm going Fouts. He's angry, hates people.
Love it. I love it. Man on fire.
Dude, okay, sometimes I wish I understand Bass has to be especially, and it's just like they have to be professional.
Yeah.
But I wish that like when the event is going on, they can say things like, I mean, they could like just pick little things like that. Like it would make it so fun and entertaining for people who are paying attention to the social media side.
Dude, if Bass did it like Barstool Rough and Rowdy, do you know how many people would tune into that? Have you guys not watched Rough and Rowdy?
No, I mean, I've seen like clips of
There's
it.
no censorship whatsoever, and it is just like letting all the contestants have it. Like it would be hilarious. But I totally get it. Professionals, you know, top trails got to be top. All right. What do you got, Justin?
Went Caleb Sumrall.
Yeah.
If I remember, or at least I researched it, and I thought he was a guide down there at one point. And maybe I got bad intel, but thought he was a guide. So it's like I'm going with the guide.
Yeah,
7% too.
That's some pretty good intel.
I have kind of an interesting point to bring up. Like, Andrew Bailey, you guys are from New York, right? Like, you guys have like a lake in your state where like state, right, for your tournaments are just kind of like centrally hosted, and it might alternate. But like in Louisiana, I'd imagine Toledo Bend is like a event or place where in the state of Louisiana, a lot of tournaments are hosted, right? Like big tournaments. So like to a lot of these Louisiana guys, is Toledo Bend almost a home lake, do you think?
Oh, I'm sure.
Gotta be.
There's not much more that they can fish, right?
Correct, right? Like you would think, Manly, Louisiana, or Toledo Bend, like that's a lake that they're hitting frequently. Like every serious bass fisherman in Louisiana has spent multiple days, if not a month or more, on Toledo Bend, right?
That's an amazing point. Yeah.
Yeah. So something to take into consideration.
Yeah. My pick for this one, really just going down this. I had a hard time with Bucket D. I was actually kind of debating Mullins a little bit, like Andy picked. But just kind of way this is setting up and with the forward facing big baits, things like that. He's high percentage in this one. I'm going with Chris Zaldain. I just think we're going to see some forward facing with him and a big bait on Toledo.
See him being alive.
Yeah, he's finally got it.
I could see him being a top 20 in this one. I could see him having a giant bag on one day and then them getting off the big bait one day and he's forcing it kind of in typical Chris Zaldain Lake Fork fashion. But I could see it happen this year. He definitely seems, somebody said it, where is it here? Fishing with Bam said Zaldain has a little kick in his step this year. And I've been consuming a bunch of his content over the winter, and it definitely does seem that way. Like there's something different going on mentally. And I don't know, that could either be bad or that could be for the bettering. So we'll see. Event number 1.
Jig Squad said Intel confirmed Summerall traces his both love and initial in between Bassmaster events. He works as a guide at Toledo Bend and Big Sam. So
there you go. Well done, sir.
yes, good job.
All right, Deke.
I went with Keith Combs as well as well. So I mean, to me, dude, like typical Keith Combs. Guy's a hammer in Texas, especially in East Texas, and I think guys cranking for big ones will certainly play, and he is one of the best at it.
I'm with it.
Yep.
He had a win last year, though, right?
I think a Toyota Series, right?
Yeah, I think it was a Toyota Series.
Or an Open. Did he win an Open?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Okay. He definitely had a substantial win last year that was not an elite for sure, but he won something last year, I feel like.
I think he was in the Classic last year because of the Open 2 years ago. I want to say. I could be totally wrong on that.
Okay.
No, I think you're right. Hey, can I make a comment?
No.
Did you guys make fun of me when I left?
No.
I know you did.
You left?
Listen, good. I was gonna say I had this defense all built up for when I got made fun of, but I'm the oldest guy here. I mean, older you get, bladder control's an issue, right? I gotta be older than you guys by like 20 years. Yeah, anyways.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
When you gotta go. All right, here's the
Come on,
comment.
big boy, go potty.
How come nobody picks Zaldane?
I just did.
Bailey literally just did.
Old man needs to listen too.
Could not have.
Freaking old people. I swear you guys have me on this place for the entertainment value. Old guy.
I want to know how old is that.
How old are you,
47.
Boomer?
47.
What?
47.
27?
Put him back on the
You got
big
me by
screen.
14 years. You're not 20 years older than me, Boomer.
Wow. Andy, you just
47?
look young.
Yeah, 47.
Yeah.
Younger than you.
You do not look 47, Boomer.
Yeah, I would have said you were 37, dude.
Wait, put him back on the big screen. Let's see if he looks 47. Oh, Boomer, come on, buddy.
I would have not even said. I'd say
maybe like
low
40.
30s.
Yeah.
Listen, if you heard the noises I made getting out of bed in the morning, you'd say 57. Be like, that guy.
Easy.
I don't think you need to share.
I
those
think that's
notes
just a
anyway.
fisherman's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all of us. Let's be honest.
Lots of gas. Sorry.
Yeah. One side of our
pressure.
body is an
Hey, that
inch
goes with old
taller than
age.
the other because of the trolling motor.
It's gonna be old.
Yeah. Well, I walk to the right a lot, just kind of in a circle because my left leg shot from running.
We
the
all
front
have
motor.
scoliosis because of forward-facing sonar.
Oh, yeah.
These are
Have you
just
guys seen
common
those
things.
memes of angler evolution where it just becomes like this giraffe neck thing? That just,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but that's,
Somebody's gonna have to talk to that new. Is it Drew Gill? That dude's a hammer, but man, his body's not gonna hold up if he leans over the graphs like that. Have you guys seen that?
yeah,
He's
it's-
like, I'm like, somebody get that dude a bigger graph because by 30 he's not gonna be able to walk. Should have said that.
yeah.
Dude's a stick. The dude is a
that
stick.
dude is a
so,
hammer. Like
Hammer.
gosh.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
super cool. His interviews are so good. Like that kid's
Mhm.
good for the sport.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Very confident.
All right. Welcome to Fantasy Fishing, where it's tangent upon tangents.
It's fun.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest bucket. Personally, I spent so much
100%,
time
buddy.
thinking about this one. Boomer,
I won't lie. I made my pick in this bucket in about 10 seconds.
I actually did
well,
too.
aren't you cool, Andy?
And I started thinking about it.
So who was it?
Wow, Andy.
I'll say who I took first. I took Trey
Not-
McKinney.
Thank you.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
Whoa!
Oh,
So now-
my God,
now
I had him
You guys
too.
all take
I
Trey
shouldn't have said that.
McKinney. You're
Yeah.
copying me, okay?
Yeah, I just love how no one else cares that if to go first, but Boomer's like, they're gonna copy me. I can't go first. No
You
one
wanna
cares
know
about your
the
pick,
worst
Boomer.
part?
I promise you, no one
Oh
cares
my
about your
God,
pick.
that's awesome.
I egged him on too. I totally egged him on. And Trey McKinney.
Now you gotta change your pick, don't you, Boomer? Because you don't.
I
want
know,
copy.
damn it. All right, okay. We'll find out who has the better reason for why they took Trey McKinney.
Oh,
Because he took second there last year in the Open.
Yeah, and anything offshore, he fished 9 Bassmaster events ever, and basically was in the top 50 in all 9 of them. 3 top 10s, all on forward-facing events. The guy's gonna catch him.
Yeah,
Boomer's like, that's the exact same reason why I picked him.
Get out of my brain.
It's not. The problem is that my reason sucks compared to that one. I just pick. There's always the first 2 events. There's always almost half the rookie field is on fire. You guys ever notice that?
Mhm.
They're all making top 10s. They're all having this amazing year. So I picked him because I feel like he's going to be the guy that's going to be on fire. I don't know how long he'll carry it. I think he's a hammer, but I picked him because I wanted one rookie in my group.
I didn't realize he's
good
from
rookie.
Illinois.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He's from where?
And
Illinois.
he's a baby. He's 19 or 20 years
Dude, he's
old.
my neighbor.
19. He was 18 during the opens.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, by the way, total sidebar, but there's a kid in the classic that qualified as 17.
No way.
No
That's
way.
sick.
He'll be
Good for
18 for
him.
the classic. It'll be the
In
youngest ever.
college, or what was he doing?
He won the team championship.
Dude, how have we not heard of that? Like, I feel like we all pay close enough attention. Like, that's the first time I've heard
That
of
should
that.
be a
So
Yeah.
they talked about it
Youngest
on social.
qualification ever?
Yeah, so I don't know if Bass
is it?
even. I
19 or
want to say Bass talked about it. When I saw him, how young he was, I actually called up Ken Duke and I asked about it, and Ken Duke said officially that he's the youngest that will ever fish the classic.
How is that not like the biggest story going into the classic, or like
That
right
should be-
now? Like, how are we
Yeah.
not hearing of that?
Maybe because it'll start some more craziness because his Instagram username is literally Scope Goat.
No way.
Yeah, let's go.
That's probably why they're hiding
That's
it. They're like,
awesome.
oh, we can't take this guy.
His name is literally Scope Goat.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
How
I'm
many
excited
of you
to see what it does.
Have you guys ever fished the team classic, team championship before?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a couple times, and my take on it was most of the elite anglers don't like that qualification being allowed in.
Oh, that's a fact. They definitely don't. Yeah.
And I think they keep it under wraps. It doesn't get very much coverage, and I wonder if that's some of the reason. Like they don't feel like that group of guys should have a shot at the classic.
I
think
feel like
because
that's
it's in
not the only
December.
one either.
My take is because it's in December always. It's like end of the year. No one really's watching it. Like that's my take on why it's not talked about very much.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hope that's what it
that's
is. But
That's the last way to really, grassroots qualify. Now,
What do you mean? I mean,
because in our eyes, the tournament season is over, right? Like we're done kind of paying attention to who qualified, right?
right.
So I get
but it's a team, right? Like that dude. What I heard from it is that guy his buddy could have carried him all the way to the top 3 or whatever, and then they separate, and then he caught a couple big fish, and those guys didn't like the fact that. My take on it is that somebody else could have got you far enough in. It wasn't you doing all the work start to finish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same with college, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah,
same with
true.
college fishing.
Yeah.
I hear that. Well, not to go down a whole nother rabbit hole here. Let's move on to Bucket C. Brennan, who you got?
Bucket C. You know what? I had to. I was kind of torn. Like this could be the battle of forward-facing sonar off in like 10 plus feet of water and suspended timber or whatever, or this could be shallow grass or who knows what. Like,
Hey, don't forget about
but I feel like
perspective
there's
mode.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Don't forget about perspective mode. That's the new rage that everyone's talking about.
That's what all the kids like to talk about. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I felt like in the event that this was further along progressed than maybe we're giving it credit for, and that there's more fish up shallow than we're giving it credit for right now, then you better have a shallow water pre-spawn guru. And in Bucket C, there is no better one than Steve Kennedy. I had to go Steve Kennedy. Had to. Could totally burn me, but the dude could top 5 easily, I think.
I like that.
Our first Steve Kennedy appearance of the year. I like it.
Mhm.
I want Steve Kennedy to win. Bad.
Oh, yeah.
man.
I
No
don't
one
know if
better
we'll
wants
have
to
to
Steve
hold that
Kennedy will
muscle.
have a great tournament, but if Bailey or I were to take Steve Kennedy, he'd finish in like 90th plus.
Dude, the guy shows up though in like every
Big
fish
event.
pre-spawn event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just
Like,
he is the
he's-
most fun to watch on live out there. He just gets so
Yeah.
giddy. Like he's just it's so good.
And the dude loves giant glide baits. I don't know, like if you follow along closely with his Instagram, because like he doesn't have like a massive following, right? Because he's Steve Kennedy. Like if you follow along with Steve Kennedy's social, you know he's a glide bait freak. The dude geeks out over custom glide baits. Like if that is that style of bite, and it will exist, I'm not sure if it'll win, but it'll be available. The dude's gonna be doing it. You know he will.
Yeah, he'll crash and burn by it, just like throwing a white jig where everyone else is throwing black and green pumpkin.
Sorry, Brendan. Jim Johnson picked Kennedy.
Oh, Jim is back.
He's back.
Go, Jim.
So
We got
Justin,
this.
to bring you up to speed, Jim Johnson, every time he has the worst fantasy lineups ever, every single time. Like they always don't do well when he picks them. So
Gotcha.
if your picks line up with Jim Johnson,
Problem.
just know, yeah, you probably should switch.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I guess I don't like
Run away.
that.
Run away.
Well, Jim, sorry, buddy. I guess we're screwed.
But the funny part is he like openly embraces it. He'll get right in the chat and be like, "Oh, yep, we're going down together."
I got a feeling me and Jim are just fine on Steve. We're fine. We're gonna do it.
I love it. All right, Justin, what you got, man?
I went with Scott Martin on this one.
Ooh.
I'm thinking hot hand. Momentum's real, and he just had the biggest beatdown ever in a
Yeah.
Bassmaster tournament, won by over 20 pounds on the Big O. So
Yeah, biggest open victory, I believe. Biggest or heaviest weight in an open or something like that.
I think it was biggest margin of victory too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was
That was insane.
it was a beatdown.
Wasn't it 91 pounds or something in 3 days?
It was
Could he
It
have
was-
touched the record, you think, or if it was a 4-day event? What's the record again? Was it 126 or something?
I don't know.
He would have been pushing it.
I mean, I think he would have been pushing it too, but
like a
it was
foul.
pretty magical that final day to watch him catch
It's
3 9+ back to back. I don't know if you could do that another day in a row.
The 4-day record is Santee Cooper, right? Is it Santee Cooper?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bailey, look it up.
Falcon. I thought.
Well, you know what?
I thought Paul Elias on Falcon all those years ago. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll text Ken Duke. He'll confirm it. All right. For bucket C, I probably spent a good 30 minutes staring at this thing, not knowing who the hell is going to pick. I went with a guy that seems to just always be consistent, absolutely everywhere, doing anything he wants. And that is simply my reason for it, because he's like the fail safe for fantasy fishing, and that is Brandon Lester.
Yeah. Good pick. Good pick.
What you got, Deacon?
I have Trey McKinney as well, man.
Oh, right.
I think
Yeah.
took
Copycat.
second.
Back at it again.
He'll, he took second at Toledo last year behind Ben Milliken. And yeah, he's just phenomenal. He's an incredible young angler.
All right. Boomer. Bucket B.
Bucket B. You guys might think it's the worst pick, but I took John Garrett.
Is that the worst pick?
Solid. It's a
I
solid
like
pick.
He's buddies with Cody Huff. They spent a lot of time on it, and I'm riding the rookie deal. Like I feel like these guys come out swinging. You always see a rookie in the top 10 too.
All right.
Huff made it qualified. Huh?
I'm curious. And maybe we should do this after everyone's picks. But I'm curious everyone's thought in bucket B with Milliken being almost at 40%. Did that sway you in any way, and in which direction? Because I took it differently than I thought I was gonna when I saw the percentage.
It definitely becomes that point where you start to consider, should I go this direction because I'm safe? I you know what I mean? Like that 60%, like you defend yourself from.
Right,
I
what's the
totally.
thought
I
process?
actually had when we logged on. I had Ben. I pulled him. Maybe because I just don't want to. Because I'm looking at my lineup and I'm like, man, this is sucks. But Ben is like he's a given, right? Like he knows that place.
Okay.
But I like there is a pattern where the rookies and then generally by the third event they start to fall off. But the first couple events they're pretty tough.
I mean, you can say John Garrett, though, is he even truly like a rookie? He's fished every lake multiple times and has been so close. He should have been on the Elite Series 4 years ago. Like, really.
Yeah. Remember why he didn't make it? He had 6 fish in his live well in Arkansas, or he would have made it. So
yeah, he's not a rookie in my eyes, that's for sure.
But it's still the amount of energy and the separation that Bass has been able to put between the opens and everything else, with so many guys coming in the COVID years. It is a lot harder to get into the elites than it ever used to be. You know what I mean? And so I still feel like he climbed a huge hill. Like, and I think 3 years in the opens is like hell on earth. Like, I think that would be hard. Yeah. And I think he did 4 or 5.
Yeah. He was there for a while.
Yeah. He's been bubble boy more than once, has he not? Like, been within 1 or 2 of qualification.
3 years in a row.
Yeah. That's insane, dude. Like, to end up within 1 or 2 spots of qualifying 2 years in a row, like, statistically is nearly impossible. So that alone says something. Like, you're incredibly talented if you can end up in that spot twice in a row.
And you're resilient, because I think it's
absolutely.
I think it's a tough lifestyle, right? I do.
Yeah.
So
100%. I dig it. Brennan?
Well, all right. So
well, we know
bucket B, I did go Milliken, of course, but not because he won, because I've been in the dude's boat, and I truly believe when it comes to electronics and specifically like pre-spawn Texas fishing, I don't know that there's anybody better than Ben Milliken. Like, when it comes to side imaging, dissecting a body of water, finding, the giant pre-spawn fish that are way further back than anybody else is even accounting for. Like, this is the guy. I'm not saying he's going to win it with a giant glide bait. It could be a 2.8-inch Kitech. I have no idea, but like, I can't picture a scenario where Ben misses like the top 10 caliber fish for this event. I just can't picture it. So I'm picking Ben.
Just gonna hover juggle for the win.
Whatever it is, man, he's going to be around the right fish. He's not going to miss him.
I think, Bailey, that should be the replay of the show, is Brennan talking just right there. That was
dude, I've seen it firsthand. Like, it's not even funny. It's ridiculous. It's different. It's different than anything I've ever seen.
Feel that. It's gonna be intriguing to watch. I can almost guarantee he's gonna be on live first
day one for sure.
He has to, yeah. And like, dude, like, foresight here. I'm not taking him drain the lake because I'm taking him for the classic, because like I believe in the dude that much. But I don't know. I've seen his ability firsthand on multiple occasions. Like, when it comes to offshore fish pre-spawn, the dude's a wizard. He's a wizard.
East Texas, especially.
Yeah, especially East Texas. Absolutely. Yep.
He's never said the term hover stroll either. I've never heard it. So
it's
at least 4 or 5 more points on the guy's resume, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Captain, what you got?
Jason Christie, big fish event. You never count him out. That's go Jason Christie. He's probably gonna catch him hover juggling a minnow, or he's gonna catch him on a spinnerbait up shallow in cypress trees. You never know what he's gonna do.
What was it? Cricket flicking? What was it? What was
yeah.
Sounds very dirty to me.
Yeah. So you just can never count him out, like, on a big fish event. What did he do at Lay Lake last year? Caught like the biggest bass that's probably been caught in that lake in 20 years.
It was the biggest bass all season in the elites from freaking Lay Lake.
Exactly.
Yep.
So he'll figure out. Yeah, he'll figure out how to catch them giants, and he'll be, I think, a contender at the end of the Derby.
I feel like Jason Christie is one of those like that should not have been forgotten about forward-facing sonar skill sets. Like, he was one of the early adapters, but people don't they recognize him for his spinner baiting and his shallow water abilities. But the dude's a hammer with live scope. Like,
he won
he's
Harwell
all winter beating everyone's butt in Oklahoma. Scope.
Yeah, dude, and like everybody thinks he's like a spinner baiter, and that's it. And it's like, you got it all wrong.
No, he's an incredible all-around angler.
For sure. Good pick.
Justin, what you got?
I went with another Texas hammer. I picked Lee Livesey. I kind of like Adam was saying, I saw that 40% on Milliken, and it made me kind of want to go away from it. And I felt like Livesey's always dominant in Texas. So I feel like he might not win, but I feel like he's going to be close.
I could definitely see that one too. I mean,
Big fish.
I can't believe we haven't talked about him more, to be honest with you. Like, he's pretty
Well,
obvious.
he'll be talked about, I think, at Fork.
yeah.
Yeah.
You think?
Next week on Monday. Yeah.
He'll get brought up again.
Monday.
No sure.
But honestly, dude, like those lakes are not that far away, and East Texas is East Texas. Like a true East Texan would argue that Fork and East Texas aren't the same, but like they're not that far away, man. And like everything, like stuff fishes similarly. Like the fact that he's not getting brought up more is pretty shocking, really.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah.
For this one, I kind of figured these popular guys would be getting picked, between Ali, Ben, and surprised you didn't say Polinick, Boomer.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's
You wanna
good in
know what,
Texas too.
I know, and his last two finishes, I think, is a 5th and I think he did the Open and got a 13th or 14th or something like that.
Where was it? Was it Sam Rayburn he won?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it? Okay.
he does really well in Texas.
I can see him being a great pick, but I went with, we were just talking about him earlier, has won here before, and especially when it comes to scope, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm surprised he's at 1.9. I'm going with Cody Huff.
I didn't realize he was that low.
Good pick.
He's pretty low. He's kind of a sleeper here, I guess. Like
Is
amongst
this our
the other guys, it's just-
first time having all different picks? That is my
might be.
No,
We got one
I
more
haven't
guy
gone
left.
yet. I haven't
Dude,
gone yet.
that's not a sleeper. That's a mega sleeper because he's
Yeah.
got a win here in a Toyota series that nobody's like acknowledging, but that's a mega
At
sleeper.
2%, huge,
Yeah.
right? I totally agree. I think Huff, if they're flicking crickets, like he's gonna be up there, right? Like that's gonna be Huff. So
This video is going to get flagged.
oh dude, that should be the next social media cutout. Cody, I mean, like to me, that's a no-brainer. I think their fish are gonna be a little bit further along than that, but to Brennan's point, to me on this one, that like from the beginning, I think that these Rayburn, Toledo Bend, could argue Fork, like those events when they're early in the year, when everyone else is kind of like, for me, right? Like I like bed fishing, I like fishing shallow. So in college, we had so many tournaments down here this time of the year, and I would go down there and go to the back of the creek, right? And there was fish everywhere, and there'd be a random 5 or 6 pounder, and you're like, sweet, I can catch 20 pounds back here. That's great. And then some dude would go catch like 34, right, on just those big pre-spawn females. And that's what Ben is phenomenal at, is finding that group of giant females that haven't even thought about coming up yet. And to me, like I didn't have Ben picked earlier today when I did my picks, and I changed it, even though, he's at 40%. I think I really like the idea of Boomer's pick with John Garrett. I think that's a sneaky one. I think another one in the comments that was talked about was Porosnik, man. Like he's won here. If they do end up getting up shallow, like he is phenomenal with that stuff. I think he's at 1.5%. So I think this was a tough bucket for me. And I'm taking the risk at 40% with Ben on this. But to me, it's like, I just don't see what, even if he struggles, like, dude, he throws a Carolina rig so often to fill a limit out and catch like good fish. And in Texas, they eat the crap out of that thing. Like he's going to catch them. I just don't know how, so I'm curious to see if the nerves affect anything with that, but man, he sure seems pretty dang confident rolling into just about anything.
Adam, I completely agree. I think like the nerves, I'm curious to see that too. But I think like Ben honestly is like top 30. You know what I mean? Kind of like,
right, like even if he does bad, like it'll be,
like if he has a bad event, it's like a top 30. And to me, it's like that's well worth taking him here,
I think that's valid.
I think we should also get to vote when this is all over the Sucky Bucket Award. Because my vote right now is Bucket B. It's the Sucky Bucket.
Which
I
one?
think
D.
B, this one. This is the worst bucket. You're right. You could almost argue
So many of these guys.
at least half these guys you could arm wrestle over. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, dude, look at Justin Hamner's at 0.3%.
I
telling me
know.
they're not going to be scoping with a jerk bait in the timber. Like that dude's one of the best out there with that.
Yeah.
No bad picks in this bucket.
Well, what did Taku get last time they were here? Did he get second or third in one of the
That
events
was
here?
my pick before I switched to Ben.
I think
was
that was
Taco.
Fork. That was Fork, not Toledo.
It was
it
yeah.
Fork?
Yeah, he was swimming a wacky rig. Not even kidding. He was swimming.
What does that? Sorry, what does that mean?
He literally was. He was reeling in a
Swim-
wacky.
He was literally
Yeah,
having
that's
the weighted
that's too,
rig, and he was swimming it between trees.
Yeah, like he would cast at a fish and just like it's just good.
The fish probably looked at it like, "What the hell is
Yeah,
that?"
so he figured that out on accident, right?
I don't know, man. It's Taku. He was talking about how he likes to put this blueberry stuff on his baits, and he eats it while also fishing it. So, like, this dude is at another level that we can't comprehend.
Oh, but by the way, I don't know when this was in 2019, but he took second at Toledo Bend in an open.
That's
in
what I
2019.
that's what I
Taku.
saw.
Well, what the heck, Boomer? You should have corrected me.
Wow.
I've never heard him say hover stroll. So
Oh, by the way,
He's-
this open, everyone, was February 20th to 22nd in 2019. Daryl Gleason won it. Taku took second, and Logan Latusu took third. So
I got Logan, buddy. Let's go. Come on.
that's why bucket B is horrific. Like that's anybody's game, I guess. But
At least it's
Bucket A?
good options versus bad options.
dude,
Yeah.
B was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue A is just as bad as B, right? Because you can make a case for just about anyone in A and why they're going to have a shot at the
I
top
know.
10. So
I think B was stronger, but I think A is typically extremely strong, right? I mean, it's all the guys that
yeah, they're fishing well,
It's
or
all,
they.
it's all the guys that are catching them really good. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Boomer. Let's keep this thing rolling. Bucket A.
Patty saved my butt last year, but I didn't pick him. I went with Joey.
I think that's a great pick.
Oh,
That's a
Damn,
great pick.
Boomer.
I had him originally too.
Same.
And I almost felt bad. Like I don't even know Patrick Walters, but I almost texted him and apologized, but I just couldn't do it. I fished against him, but I never met him.
That is literally the exact same thing that I did. I had Patrick Walters and I took Joey Cifuentes here. I just feel like offshore giant pre-spawn fish, like dude's good at it. He's a savant. I'm taking Joey Cifuentes.
I'm with that.
Oh,
Capitan.
you're going to make that 3 in a row.
What the hell?
It's funny. I actually picked part of my roster like 2 weeks ago, and he was the first one I picked. And I went back and forth between him and Blaylock because Blaylock always shows up in these early events doing something a little bit different than everyone else and catches big ones. And I really thought about taking Stetson for like an overall safe, like top 30 pick, but it's bucket A. This is usually the bucket that if somebody's gonna win, it probably comes from bucket A. So I was like,
It's
I
the
have to go Joey.
separator.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What do you got, Justin?
I went with I don't know. I'm second guessing it now.
Can't change now.
I was going with a scoper who had some really good tournaments last year, and Koya Fujita.
That's a good
He's been
one.
a.
I love that.
I've seen a lot of people
It's
comment
a-
him, but like
So
3.8.
yeah, exactly. I'm like 3.8. I was
He's gonna catch him on dice and crabs.
He has 16 live scopes now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I heard he has
Just
a live scope for his Marshall, so his Marshall can watch what he's doing.
He actually mounted a live scope in my boat for this event. I'm not even going.
He just mounted, yeah, like the camera boats. He's like, oh, we need one over here.
Yeah.
Need one over
We need
here.
one for my boy Brennan. He's not even here, but we're gonna hook him up.
We were talking about that EMP earlier. He's tapped into everybody else's live scope around the
Yeah.
lake, so you can see there.
Yeah.
He knows when someone else sees fish, so he goes to them because he's
Yep.
hiding.
He's got it built in.
I like it. What else on Koya? Anything else on there?
No, just I don't know. I've paid attention to I'm Todd Castledine and I don't remember who else was on there. I think Andrew Upshaw ish got on there a bunch last year. Those guys did a live show, and it seemed like Vegeta got picked a ton, and every time like it paid off for those guys. So it's like I'm gonna copy that.
Yeah, I'm taking note.
No joke. Yeah.
With it. This one, yeah, like we were talking about earlier, B was hard in regards to a lot of options. This one was difficult in regards to that. Similar to the guys earlier, I went with Fuentes first, and then this morning I actually changed it. Just kind of first tournament of the year, trying to throw some darts at the board to try to get ahead somehow, try to get a lead, get away from some of the same picks, and I'm surprised he's at 1.1. But he's insane with scope, and he can do a whole mix of everything. I'm going with Luke Palmer for this one.
Great
No
choice.
stranger to
How
giant.
did you pick him last year?
A lot, and it worked out for me.
He is just a safe, like, you need a top 30, Luke Palmer.
Dude, he's sneakily amazing. Like you look at Santee, what was it? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Like he was right there.
Last year he won.
Yeah, and he got a dub last year, right? In one event.
Last year, and then 2 years ago he was like third or fourth.
Yeah, I feel like he shows up in big fish events like this one. A good pick.
Yeah, and he learned how to scope and catch smallmouth too. So he's coming into it, man.
He doesn't get it. He's not.
Guys.
He doesn't get a lot of like he gets good press, but he doesn't get the over the top press. Do you notice that?
So
like
laid
he's
back.
not. Yeah, he's not. He's not a big social guy. Like I mean, he's good at all of this stuff, but it's like the phenomenon I was talking about earlier. It's like who screams loudest on the internet, you know? And he's not that guy, and so I don't think people think about him as much. But you're right; his record's amazing.
Could you imagine? Do any of you guys remember was that Ultimate Match Fishing where they put two pros in the boat and then they like switch them through the day? Like that'd be a great pair right there. Koya with Randy and Ultimate Match Fishing. That would be...
Wonder if never mind, I'm not gonna go there. That's incredible. All right, Deacon, who you got?
Man, I cannot believe. No, has anyone picked Patty yet?
I thought you were taking Jay Lee, buddy. All right, good. You're taking Patrick Walters.
I've got Patrick Walters. I can't. Yeah, Jay Lee. I mean, at 16%, I think he's going to be on live day one, right? Like for sure.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, Patrick Walters. Like, how can you bet against him? He's been so close to AOY so many times. He's blown the door off of fork and catching big ones, scoping with a jerk bait. So he is certainly my bucket A pick.
I'm with it. All right. Well, that wraps up fantasy fishing. Any other takeaways around the room here of the event? I feel like we went pretty in depth with all those buckets. We're almost an hour and a half into this thing.
Will there be a century belt?
No.
I think it's going to be close, but
I think it's going to be close, man. I think we're going to be within 7 or 8 pounds of it for sure, which I know it doesn't sound that close, but that's pretty close.
I think you're going to be closer than that.
You think so? I think we're going to be within 5 to 6 pounds of it. I should say that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, if there was one though, I would not be surprised. Is where I'm trying to get at. Like, I don't know. I got a feeling like this one's gonna be like a low 90s. I guess we can just go around the horn here.
I'm at a high 90s.
Throw out the weight.
I got
98.7 is where I'm at.
What you got?
92.8.
92.8. I had 92.14. So we're like
right. And I'm gonna split you guys. I'm at 92.10.
Brennan, what do you got?
95.6.
Boomer.
I'm the highest one. I got 97 flat.
Nice.
No, I had 98.7.
Oh, you got 98.
Boomer can't count.
Always trying to outdo me.
Take your picks
it's-
and outdo you. You know.
He can change his pick as soon as he hears you say 97. He goes, no, I'm going 90.
What did you,
Yeah, you know what? I'm 104 right here.
What was your pick again? Yeah, let me just.
Well, here, 105, 105.
Turns into an auction.
Yeah.
Sold.
Awesome. All right, let's quickly go around because obviously we're doing Drain the Lake too. I guess we should have done this at the beginning. I totally forgot to mention this, but the fantasy fishing trophy you guys remember from last year is actually in a box right now. My wife put in there for Boomer. It's on the way to you. And has everybody gotten their Drain the Lake baits to Deakin yet? I know I literally delivered it.
Dude, Deacon, tell him I sent mine. Deacon?
They sit in a case up here.
Oh, look at those
Those
beauties.
bad boys. Those
2
bad.
OG warts, 1 custom painted.
I
1
legit
stone
have
with
them
black.
sitting in the next room over. I just keep forgetting to take them to the post office.
Yeah.
I'll get 'em
Haley,
there.
those baits you sent me are sweet.
I already
There's
forgot what I
some
sent you, to
stuff.
be honest.
I don't have them in here, but
I just found some wild
sneaky
JDM
Japanese stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some of these, I don't know what I'm going to do with some of it. I'm like, I don't. Do I put this on a? I don't know, but like we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna throw it out there.
I dig it. So, if you guys are wondering if you are first to our fantasy fishing show, this is your first year, at least tuning in on Drain the Lake. We do the winner of Drain Lake at the end of the year gets baits and or a bait up to $50. So you can either get one bait up to $50 or, but we all send them to the winner. So, if you're looking for the baits, Drain the Lake is the game to win. But fantasy fishing, that nice big trophy that John King from Drunkwood made, that said Fantasy Champ, that is on its way to Boomer. That I'm sure he's going to flaunt for us once it when it comes to this doorstep.
I can't wait. And Deacon, your stuff's on the way, but they keep rejecting it because it's not in hazmat packaging. So I got it fixed.
There's so much rust on it that they physically can't do anything with it because there's so
Yeah.
When it got in the mail, they literally
Smells
thought
too
it was
bad.
shrapnel and was just going to be a bomb because it's just lead and hooks everywhere. But it's
We're
just
definitely getting this video flagged now because you just said that.
They won't. They're not going to put that box on a plane. I'm telling you that right now.
It's just straight up 50 pounds of rusted hooks.
Good thing
I
we're
love
an hour
this.
and 30 minutes in.
The FBI is going to show up to Boomer's front door because of this video.
Is that a real perch?
I'll send this one right here.
What
Oh,
is
flag?
nice.
It's a flag, buddy.
Is that a Nessie?
No, it's a flag.
I'm just
That's a
kidding.
real flag.
that thing's sweet.
$55.
That'd be good up north,
Is that-
especially.
are you saying you're already going to lose
It'll-
Drain the Lakes? That's your.
It will have yeah. It'll have no paint on it if you get if I still have it. If I still have it, I might lose it easily to a pike.
Right. That is absolutely pike candy.
Yeah. And if I still have it, it will have no paint left on it. But I'll send it to you, whoever wins.
I love
Dig
it.
it.
Which
All right,
one?
let's go around the horn here and give our Drain the Lake picks. Deacon, you got them up and ready to go?
I do. You ready?
Let them rip.
A lot of the similar. My biggest takeaway from last year, by the way, guys, because I won Drain the Lake, was I need to start taking my Drain the Lake picks first and then rolling that over to fantasy. Because when it's like this guy's going to be gone for whatever reason, I did way better at it. But I've got Ben Milliken, Keith Combs, Ray Hanselman. Did anyone pick Ray Hanselman? Oh yeah, we had a couple pick. Okay. Trey McKinney, John Sokup, Kenta Kimura, Derek Hudnall, and John Garrett as my Drain the Lake picks.
Yeah. Justin?
I got Caleb Summerall, Clark Wendlet, Ben Milliken, Keith Combs, Derek Hudnall, Greg Hackney, Logan Latuso, and Ray Hanselman.
I got Stetson Blaylock, Cifuentes, Keith Combs. Also have John Garrett in there. Cody Huff, Milliken, Matt Robertson, and Bryant Smith.
Bryant.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Do you want me to go next, or
You are in line, yes.
Sorry, I got Huff, Rivette, Sukup, Swindle, Taylor, Wendlet, Blaylock, and Hudnall.
Mhm.
Boomer?
Got McKinney, Sukup, Wendland, Zaldane, Milliken, Livesay, Hanselman, and Drew Cook.
All right, Brennan, round us out.
All right, I'm gonna win. By the way, Logan Latuso, Derek Hudnall, Ray Hanselman, Kenta Kimura, Joey Cifuentes III, Wesley Gore, Pat Schlopper, Patrick Walters.
I dig it. Stacked.
You bet.
Pat bailed me out twice last year.
Pat
my-
Schlopper.
He did. Yeah.
Dude, he's another one of those sneaky big fish pre-spawn gurus, especially in
Mhm.
Texas. Watch out. Ike's
Nobody
gonna
thinks
get it.
about him because he doesn't do social media. I'm telling
Nope. And he's a big glide baiter too. Not saying that's going to be the case here, but like the dude's totally familiar with it.
Huh. All right. I dig it.
Wisconsin boy. Watch out.
Yeah. Isn't he known for his kung fu or karate or something he does on stage?
I don't know what he's known for necessarily on stage, but the dude's the dude's good down south. I mean, it literally seems like every pre-spawn event, like he smashes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's like he does amazing right off the bat, and then he just like maintains throughout the year. But he always starts off strong. So
Yeah. I'm with it. All right, fellas, we have 2 things left for the night, and that is our Angler of the Year and Rookie of the Year picks. So I guess real quick, go around the horn here, same order. Rookie of the Year, and we'll end with Angler of the Year. But Deacon, who you got?
Rookie of the Year first?
Yes,
Did you say?
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, you know, between the 2 that I have in mind here, I can't believe we haven't brought up at all. Is it Jordan Thompson, the guy who won AOY for the Opens last year? Tompkins. There we go.
Tompkins. It's JT, isn't it?
Yeah, JT Tompkins. That's right. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, smoked him, right? Like he absolutely crushed the Opens last year, like not even close in a super competitive field. So I thought that was interesting. That wasn't brought up at all in this, but I'm going Trey McKinney, man, as far as an AOY for the or Rookie Angler of the Year, ROY rather. I think Trey is a phenomenal angler. He took second, I think, in the Opens AOY EQs last year. So I could see him getting after it and getting it done for the rookie class.
See it? Yeah. What you got?
I went with Kyle Patrick.
Hometown boy. All right.
Another, yeah. And
well, both of our hometowns technically, because he's Virginia/New York.
missile guy. And I think he can take that magic worm and do some damage with the live scope.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's cool to see the growth of Kyle Patrick over the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm going John Garrett, and I don't think it's going to be close.
Dude, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah,
cheater.
I'm torn between John Garrett and Trey, and I'm leaning. And when I was thinking about it earlier, I was more on the John Garrett train, so I'm going John Garrett just because of the overall experience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it.
Gotcha. Brennan?
I was torn between John Garrett or Milliken, and I have to go Milliken, of course. John Garrett's phenomenal. Obviously has ass loads of experience. I'm going to go Milliken, though, ultimately. Yeah, John Garrett's phenomenal, though.
Milliken definitely wins best boat wrap of the year.
I think so.
I haven't seen this boat wrap.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
dude,
throw it up. Throw it up.
Is it good?
Did he just do the area code?
He did. I think he did that, and then has his logo.
Is that what the 402 is?
Yeah,
it's
it's
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Oh my god!
Wow, way to pay attention, Boomer.
Then he has Talladega
Boomer.
Nights a logo. The Puma or the Puma, the Cougar.
The Cougar.
Yeah. You with the Cougar. He goes, got a Cougar in the car.
I was hoping it was something deeper. I'm not. I don't watch.
Oh, just look at it. It's cool.
Well, I'm looking
Just
at that.
look at it,
but I'm
Boomer.
not
Give it a
like I
try.
don't watch the Milliken videos. So when
It's
I saw
okay,
402,
Boomer. Just look at it.
Look at
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Trying to find
Would
it,
you
too.
just look at it?
it. There was who was it? Was it Julius Andy that we had on with Jake Maddox that said we were talking about title sponsors, and he goes, yeah, I think I just want a Marlboro Reds title sponsor boat wrap.
Yeah.
That's gonna be legendary. You serious?
Camel.
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 Yeah, the old school
Sponsor.
Camelbacks are legit in like the 90s. My dad was a big
yeah.
Camel smoker, and I just remember I'm like, no wonder why all these young kids smoke. Like the cigarette packs are attractive just to look at. So
Yeah.
it was hilarious. I'm like, that'd be a sweet boat wrap.
It was pretty good.
Right. So I'm John Garrett too for Rookie of the Year. He's got the Fuentes deal where he's got all the background.
He's not really a rookie, but he is. But he's not.
Yeah,
at all.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Which I think it's also safe to say that experience is less needed in today's world than it ever has been. It is ridiculous how young the dominant anglers are right now in everything. But I mean, look at the Toyota series, the Opens, everything is just like, man, kids have never been in these places and they're absolutely crushing. So,
well, that's one thing I forgot to mention earlier too that I was thinking about today when I was making my picks was you could go like and pick a Keith Combs that has won so many times on Rayburn and done so well in Texas. Then you look at how the world of pro fishing on these lakes is changing so fast with technology that you're like, some of it doesn't even like, yeah, if you want it deep cranking or shallow cranking, you're doing this and that. Like times have changed. Like it might not even be a factor anymore. He might do well, but like when we're talking about guys that might win, like the times are different now. You might want to pick a guy that if it's going to be a scoping deal that just is so good and efficient with it. And it's
Nothing has changed.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. I feel like too, like 2 months just became 2 weeks too, and like breaking down water and how far fish could be ahead or behind what we truly think they were, like with forward facing sonar, like it kind of breaks down all those misnomers, and like it's kind of a free for all, man.
Yeah, it's opened up so many different things. It's all right. Angler of the year. Deacon, what do you got?
Dude, I got Palmer all day long. That guy.
That's who you had last year.
Did I?
How do you remember
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. I don't remember much.
He probably wrote it down.
He doesn't remember.
He's like, Deacon wrote down. Yes, I'm gonna make sure he knows that I had that pick first. I'm going Luke Palmer, and the guy's an absolute hammer, and I'm surprised he hasn't won Angler of the Year yet because he's just so dang consistent.
What you got, Justin?
I went with another Kyle. I think Welcher's going to go back to back.
Whoa,
Wow.
I like that.
Damn.
I'm putting it out.
I think he's running in. I want to say I'm going on a limb here. I think he's running in Ultrex this year too. So I think he doesn't have to worry about motor breakdowns. The motor guide.
I did not know.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, he's got the. I think so. I think it was the Pro Tour or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The one that was it Taku had one, like an extra one every single tournament or something like that. Heard some crazy stories. Those things going haywire when you have them, whatever their spot locked is called.
So that's the one that cost him the season finale, winning that tournament, having a chance to win it.
I don't know for sure if it was that, but that I just was trying to make a joke that turned in, I guess, into a serious conversation.
What on his boat?
Yeah. What you're saying, Boomer?
What on his boat changed? You'll know what it caused. You know what caused it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Look, if he's got a Yamaha, when he
Should be
started
right.
with the Mercury, you know what? You'll know what went down.
Yeah. AOY, where Deacon's talking about somebody that I'm surprised hasn't won it yet. That's kind of aligned with my pick, and that's Patrick Walters.
I hate going last.
That's what happens when you win, Boomer.
Damn you.
What you got, Andy?
You freaking took my pick.
So you can.
Yeah, I'm on Patty Walters. I think he is due for an AOY. My second choice was Luke. Luke has been
Who's your
fishing
third pick,
incredible. Luke Palmer. My third pick. Oh, you know what? I think the schedule kind of sets up pretty good for a Brandon Cobb as well. So that could be a good third pick. Would be a Brandon Cobb. He was close
Very close.
last year. So
Yeah, and they got Murray back. They're not going to Santee again, are they?
no, but they're going to Fork, which he's won at Fork as well.
True. Very true.
I heard a really good argument amongst people's at the highest level. I don't mention any names. That one less Smalley tournament last year, and Cobb would have been a shoe-in.
Shoe-in? Huh?
He would have been the man. He would have been AOY.
Oh.
One less Smalley Derby, just one less.
Yeah.
He was kind of kicking there for a while.
It was like top 10.
It was a great run.
Oh, on a freaking wacky rig.
Yeah.
Caught the crap out of him at the season finale, and still, I don't remember what his weights were.
Yeah, I think he was 22nd or something like that in that event.
But I mean, if you look at what he actually caught, insane weight for anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Brennan, you got?
You know what? I thought of a lot of the same picks you guys did, but I'm going to go Joey Cifuentes for AOY.
Love it.
Wow.
St. Clair, first place. Bugs Island Open, 6th place last year. Kissimmee, 2nd place last year. I mean, like, the dude was on fire. He was on a tear. He was super close in the end. I don't know. To me, it was either Patrick Walters or Joey Cifuentes, and I think Joey edged him out going Joey Cifuentes.
I'm with it. All right, Boomer. End us.
I'm going to take Walters, but I'll tell you this. If Walters didn't fish the MPFL this year, I would have taken Cifuentes.
Makes me feel good, Boomer.
I feel like Walter's edge is the fact that all he does is fish. Doesn't have any kids. I think he's got one on the way, but
he's got the baby factor.
Yeah, he might have that, but
then he went
on the way.
I think doesn't he? I think they have one on the way. I don't know, but
Walters, yeah, they do.
Yeah, he signed back up for the NPFL. Man, the guy is pure fishing. Like he's gonna go from one to the other.
All gas.
All gas.
What does it say? All gas, no brakes, or something like that.
Yeah, all gas, no brakes.
We call that the Deakin.
The Sheik.
All gas, no brakes, maybe. Even when you're on the highway in fantasy fishing.
You're either going to win or
And
crash.
you get a ticket.
We for real need to find something that we can call the Sheikin to be handed out to whoever finishes last at the end of the year to pass around the trophy.
I don't know. It sounds
What
like
about,
a material
a brake
like
pedal?
Hey, if it's been anything like our show in recent years, it could just be a pack of Trokar hooks.
Ooh, I know
Andy,
where we can get some.
Andy ruined Trokar last year.
Andy
That was so
buried Trokar.
You know,
on the
You know
show.
what? I wonder what hook Scott Martin was using at Okeechobee this year. Because it didn't seem like he lost too many fish. Okay.
He never once. I watched that final day pretty vividly or like intensely, and he never mentioned Trokar. He always does, and I was like, "This is interesting. Something has changed."
Light bulb.
Hey, he's
Andy
loose
ruined
now.
it.
He's making
And he's
changes.
using loose. He's using loose rods and reels, right? Like, so
He's coming to his senses.
changing it all up.
We'll have to figure out something though. I like the idea because John King asked earlier in the show in the comments if we're going to do like a punishment or something like that. And I feel like while that'd be fun, a trophy that you have to post with as the loser of fantasy fishing would be even funnier. I have been awarded the Sheikin.
It's like a Buddha trophy just sitting in your hand.
I think it should just be honestly, we just find it like a old $10 bowling trophy and just like print out Deacon's face with a wig.
Even though, like, yeah, it's derogatory to the loser. It's just my face. Like,
It's all right.
But doesn't like
Put like a Ben Franklin wig on Deakin.
It'd be even better too if you wanted to. So you got to see your face.
you have to like keep it right in front of you while you're recording.
I
the
love
word
it.
Sheikin sounds like a material in a prophylactic though, or you know what I mean, like in a rubber, you know.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
the
the
biggest
Sheikin
fan.
material.
I mean, we could call it Sarah Deakin if you want. You know, Sheikin just sounds fun.
Like,
The Sheikin rubber just is so much better.
see, that's
Sheikin
that's a
rubber.
You got some strands of Sheikin on that jig?
hey, all right, new
Sorry.
thing. The Serious Angler is going to come out with a new jig that's going to be called the Sheikin jig, and it's going to be a new style of rubber that no one has ever seen.
It's gonna be
Slides
the
through
worst
cover.
jig with Trokar hooks.
And it's not going to catch it.
It's not gonna catch it.
It'll be so good it scares every bass away.
Yeah. It's so good it catches no fish. Oh man! All right, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled and report. Maybe in the next episode if we can figure something out trophy wise. I'm tempted now. I'm on the hunt for the Sheikin trophy for next year.
What if someone has to wear some ridiculous hat? I think that's what it should be. If you lose this season, you have to wear a hat for the rest of the next season of fantasy fishing.
My brother got me a hat for Christmas that's like rainbow colored, and it said I was a happy accident because I was actually an accident. So maybe we just pass that hat around.
That's a bad one.
You know what we should just do? I mean, this would be kind of a little bit ridiculous, but we should the problem is the Elite Series is so back to back. I was going to say we should have something like that we put in the mail. Like if you lose fantasy this week, you have to wear it for the next show. But like, I think
That's
we're
right.
going to run out of time.
Oh, that could be arranged, dude. That could easily be
That could be
arranged.
arranged,
You just
yeah.
have to be committed to like getting your ass to the post office.
Like an OG dunce hat. Like what are we
Yeah.
talking here?
Yeah. By the 4th or 5th event, it'll come out of a box. I'll beat to hell.
I love it though, man. I think that's a great idea.
All right, let's all do.
There
our
should
own
be a
thing.
punishment. You should suffer for sucking. You should.
Yes.
Just like in life.
The Sheehan Trophy at the end of the year for the grand loser, and then a hat that we send each week for whoever loses the week.
What about, I think we should have a dunce hat, like something to represent like you sucked this week. You know?
There should be a dunce hat.
Like there should be a dunce hat.
Like
All right.
But that guy gets to go last in the picks, though.
Absolutely. That way Sarah is less inclined to steal the picks.
We got
classic.
It says Sheehan sounds like a Chinese STD.
Yeah, this has been my
Thank
point
you.
with the whole terminology of Sheehan. This whole time I was thinking, like, this can't be good. Like, we're gonna come up with some trophy that is not show on live. Like, that's gonna be our issue with it.
That's right.
Well, luckily we can show that one.
All right, we're gonna
Proud to
figure
present
something
my
out.
Sheehan Award of the year.
I am the Grand Sheik.
Sheik Master.
Oh, my
The
God.
Sheik Master. The Grand Sheik Master. I like it. All right, we'll figure something out and report back. But I'll pitch it out to people that are either watching or listening. If you have ideas, shoot us an email, DM us on social. Like, we could use any inspiration you guys got. But fellas, great first show to kick off the year. Fun as always, and we'll be back next Monday because there's back-to-back weeks to kick off the year for the Elite Series season for Lake Fork. So that's going to be interesting. And Justin, I'm starting to see my breath here, so I think we're going to wrap this thing up. We're doing this show outside. But guys, anything else to add before we wrap this sucker up?
No, I look forward to the exciting year that we have coming, and I hope that there's 5% less forward facing and some epic like topwater blowups or jig fish catches that are where the rod sings a little bit. So
Yeah,
here's
I'm
to
with you.
hoping.
You're so hoping. Anything else, guys? All good? All right. Well, folks, appreciate you guys as always. If you're on MP3, please leave a rating and review. And we'll see you guys actually tomorrow night. We're going live here on Serious Angler Network YouTube channel and Facebook page with our pal, the fisheries biologist, Mr. Stephen Barden. So make sure you guys come tune in tomorrow night. If not, this a week from tonight, next Monday night, we'll be back for a little recap of Toledo Bend and then the preview for Lake Fork. See y'all then.